Parent-child dedication it's the opportunity for parents to express their desire to raise their children to be children of faith who follow Jesus. Hey bud, it's a cajon. It's a really cool drum, and you should play it sometime, but not right now. Okay, it's also time for the parents each to dedicate themselves in the role of mother and father. It's a time for the parents to make a commitment to raise their children in the principles that God gives us in the Bible. And it's also a time for all of you to make a commitment to them as well. We're going to ask you to make a commitment to pray for them, support them, and encourage them in the challenging task of parenting. But here's what it's not, and I want to make sure we know that just real clearly. It is not a way for one of these children to find faith in Jesus. Because we don't believe that we can sort of impart it and push it into their spirit. We believe that it's something that God reveals to them, and then they respond. So they need to make their own decision, but at the same time, we don't treat this lightly either. Anytime we take a moment to dedicate ourselves or our children to God, that's an important moment as well. So we're going to take a moment and do that. Let me just get to the right spot. So I've got questions for the parents. The parents are the ones who are making the commitment today. So here's the question for you to answer, or you can just answer yes. Do you commit today to raise your trial? Is that Freudian? Not Freudian, but what do you call that when it's like you think something and your child? Okay, sometimes they're trials. All right. Do you commit today to raise your child to love and serve Jesus Christ? Do you commit today to model for your child a life of faith and obedience to Jesus Christ based on His Word? Yes. All right, buddy, come on over here. Come on over, buddy. Come on. They're all turned off. Yeah, we'll have to do that later. I know you're destined to be in the worship team. We're totally good with that. All right, 2 more questions, and these are important as well. Will you do your best to live by God's grace, receiving His help, His joy, and His forgiveness as you parent your child? And will you allow us as your church family to love and support you, realizing that we're in this together and we need each other? Thank you. And I'm going to ask all of you to answer 2 questions. They're all standing. I want to invite you to stand as well. Would you stand, please? They're standing up here saying, we're going to make a commitment this day, this moment in time where they say, we will commit our lives to this. It's a long time. They're going to need our help. And we're going to need their help along the way as well. So I'd like you to answer yes if you're willing to make this commitment. Here's the commitments we're asking you to make. Will you support these families and pray for them as they raise their children to love and serve Jesus Christ?
Yes. Yes.
And will you show them God's grace and tangible love, realizing that we need God and each other?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. We're going to pray. I'm going to invite you to pray for them. And I would even say this. As I pray this prayer out loud, and I'll pray on each family and pray a blessing on them. As I do that, I want to invite you to pick one. To pick one that you decide, you know what, I'm going to, as time goes, when they're running into church, well, Sarah's not going to run in yet, but when she does, does she know what I'm saying? She's so smart. Yeah, her parents are super smart. Now you're just showing off. But here's the thing, seriously, as they run into church, just take a minute and say, God, would you give your grace to these parents? As they walk into church and say, God, would you give them strength as they parent? God, would you give them wisdom, just as it happens, not just this day, but in days along the way, because we really believe that we need each other. And we really believe that we need to go to God for each other. And that's part of the beauty of being in a community of faith, is we get to be there for each other. So let me invite you to make that further commitment if you would. And then let's take a minute, and I'll invite you to stand, as you're standing, to bow, and let's take a minute and pray for these couples and for these kids. God, we bow to you, and we dedicate these families and these parents to you. We ask for your grace. We ask for your guidance on their lives. God, we ask for these children, for your grace and your guidance on their lives, even in their young years. We pray that that they may grow to become the men and the women that you created them to be. God, we pray for them that they would find you early in their lives, not only so they can keep from making the mistakes that many of us made, but also so they can come to know and experience your love and your grace and your kindness and your truth and your joy and your strength. So we pray for Matt, pray for Janet. We pray for them that you would protect and strengthen their marriage. It's not any more at risk than anyone else's. But we ask that you would give them a marriage that is strong through the decades together. Strong in love and strong in faith and strong in commitment and strong in laughter and all of those things. We pray for this little girl. Pray your blessing on her, the blessing of your protection on her all throughout her life. We pray that you would make her like her mom, a mom who is wise, a mom who lives life with care, and also has an inner strength that comes from you. We pray that you would impart that to Sarah. We pray that you would help her to not only discover who she is, but that she would early discover who you are. So we pray for your kindness on her. We pray for your blessing on her. We pray that she would remain dedicated to you through every moment of her life. God, we are blessed with Rich and Anna. And